The desert road hadn't seen tire tracks in years. It lay stretched across the sand like a black scar, cracked and faded, half devoured by creeping dunes. Heat still clung to it even after sunset, rising from the asphalt in trembling waves that distorted the horizon like a mirage that refused to die. But tonight the desert was cold, too cold, and the stars above, the thousands of glittering pinpricks that should have shimmered, winked, danced, sat perfectly still. No twinkling, no flicker, no cosmic laughter, just silence. Into that silence wandered a hyena. Her fur was patchy with dust and wind scars, her limbs lean from long searching, her amber eyes bright with a cunning that hunger had sharpened rather than dulled. She walked with the rolling gait of her kind, half prowl, half stalk, as though even the empty road might offer prey. She paused at the faded yellow center line and sniffed. Nothing. No sand mice, no carrion, no scent of recent life. Even the wind smelled hollow. She raised her head toward the sky. The stars stared back, cold, motionless, wrong. Their stillness unnerved her, more than any predator could. Hyenas lived under laughing skies, under flickering, mocking constellations, under heavens that wriggled like fireflies. But these stars felt carved from stone. Her ears pinned back. She gave a short, uneasy cackle, the kind hyenas used to test the air. The sound rose, thin, sharp, and died. Not faded, not carried, just died, as if the sky refused to hear it. The hyena froze. She tried again. Another call, louder, echoing with challenge. No answer. Her own voice fell flat, swallowed instantly, as though the desert itself was holding a finger to its lips. She backed up, paws scraping the road's crumbling edge. Something was watching. Not from the dunes, not from the road. From above. The stars did not blink. Not one. A whisper of instinct told her, run. But her hunger dragged her forward instead. She sniffed along the shoulder of the road until she found it. Something strange, sharp, metallic half buried in the gravel. A shard. Thin, black, shimmerless. Not glass, not stone. It was cold. Too cold for desert night. The hyena pawed at it. A faint vibration traveled up her leg. She jerked back, bristling, teeth bared in a soundless snarl. Above her, a single star flickered. Just one. A quick, sharp pulse, like a wink. The hyena growled, stepping backward, fur standing on end. Another star flickered, then another. The sky didn't laugh. It trembled. A ripple of faint, silent motion passed through the constellations, like something enormous had brushed against the fabric of night from the outside. The shard on the ground vibrated again, twice in quick taps like a coded signal. The hyena turned to run, but the road beneath her paws vibrated. A soft hum rose from the asphalt, a hum with no sound, only pressure. She crouched low, ears flat, scanning the darkness. A wind should have come, a rustle, a whisper, but the desert stayed still. Then, a far-off answering flicker in the stars, a pattern, a pulse, like laughter being held back. The hyena bolted. Her paws struck the cracked asphalt, scattering grit, heart pounding with primal terror she didn't understand. Behind her, the shard lifted from the ground, weightless, hovering an inch in the air. And above, the stars flickered in time with her footsteps, as if following her, as if imitating her, as if waking up. And for the first time in centuries, the desert realized something. The stars weren't refusing to laugh. They were waiting. For her. The hyena did not stop running until her lungs burned and her paws throbbed. She darted off the ruined road and into the dunes, her shadow stretching and shrinking with each frantic stride under a sky that refused to shimmer. But she wasn't alone. Every time her paw struck the sand, a faint flicker pulsed overhead. One star blinking on cue, then another, then a cluster, as if the heavens had begun to mimic her rhythm. The hyena skidded to a halt beneath a leaning acacia tree, panting, ears twitching wildly. She looked up. The stars went still again, motionless, cold. watching. Her breath trembled from her throat, but no sound came out. The air swallowed it. The desert held onto silence like a fragile secret. She crouched lower, confused and trembling. Then, a faint whistle. Not in the air. Beneath her. The shard. She had left it on the road, but now it hovered above the cracked asphalt where she'd found it, gently rising and falling like a heartbeat. No wind held it aloft. No force she recognized. It was simply defying weight, because something in the sky had commanded it to. The hyena snarled silently. The shard responded, tilting, shifting, rotating to face her directly despite the distance. Her body stiffened. The shard pulsed once, and every star in a 20-degree arc flickered at the same instant. Not randomly, not like twinkling, identically, in perfect synchronization. The hyena backed up until her hind legs touched the acacia trunk. Something ancient and wordless stirred inside her. A memory older than Pax, older than carrion, older than laughter. The sky is not right. The shard pulsed again, longer this time. The stars answered, dimming in a long sweep across the horizon, like someone trailing a hand across a piano's keys. The darkness behind them deepened, stretching outward like ink spreading across parchment. The hyena bared her teeth. Even her ancestors had never seen a sky that replied. A tremor passed through the dunes. She turned, expecting a predator, but the sand behind her rose in a slow, deliberate swell. Not like a dune shifting, not like wind, not like anything the desert had ever taught her. The sand lifted in a long, curving ridge, forming a shape beneath it. A shape that slithered, coiled, and tightened along its length, without making a sound. The hyena's fur bristled. She stepped back. The ridge followed, smooth and slow. She bolted again. The ridge surged, not after her body, after her shadow. Her shadow slid across the sand, under the bright, unblinking stars, and the ridge followed that moving darkness, as though the shadow were the only real thing in the desert. The hyena darted left. The ridge curved left. She twisted right. The ridge bent right, carving a perfect arc in the sand. Her heart pounded so hard, she felt her ribs shake. From the road behind her came a new sound, one she did not hear so much as feel. A low, cosmic hum, the vibration of a broken tuning fork held against the bones of the earth. The hyena froze involuntarily, muscles locking from terror. The shard rose higher. It turned slowly in the air, orienting itself vertically, like a thin obsidian blade. A faint line of white light cut across its surface, slit-like, pupil-like. Her breath rattled. The shard blinked. Every star blinked in answer. The hyena collapsed to her belly, not from submission but from the crushing feeling of being noticed by something far larger than teeth, far older than bone. The shard pulsed a third time, and the sky reacted. Constellations rearranged subtly, shifting their patterns like a face adjusting its expression. A slow, gentle rotation of starlight formed a spiral directly overhead, a spiral that pointed unmistakably down, right at her. The shadow-chasing ridge shuddered, the shard vibrated, and the stars spoke. Not with laughter, not with light, not with sound, but with an overwhelming, suffocating sense of attention. Something in the sky had woken. Something was looking for her. Something was using the shard to point. The hyena bolted, every nerve on fire. Behind her, the shadow ridge rose high like a wave preparing to crash. The shard tilted, the stars flickered in a new rhythm, and the desert began to move in ways it never had before. The hyena ran until her lungs burned like coals, until every leap felt like it might break her bones, until the dunes blurred into one endless wave of pale gold under the rigid, unblinking sky. But she couldn't outrun the stars. Each time her paws struck the sand, another cluster flickered above, sometimes one, sometimes many, as if the heavens were studying her stride, memorizing her rhythm. The shard followed, not quickly, not jerkily. It drifted through the air with a horrifying smoothness, gliding parallel to her path like a predator that did not need to chase because it already owned the distance between them. Every pulse it gave caused the stars to dim or brighten in perfect unison, like a single enormous organism breathing in the void. The hyena skidded down a dune, sand spraying in a silent arc behind her. She tumbled halfway down, caught herself with trembling paws, and pressed her body low against the cool sand. Her heart hammered. Her breath rasped. But no sound escaped her throat. Above her, the stars blinked. Once, twice, 3 times. In a pattern she didn't understand, but felt sink into her bones. A summons. The shard hovered at the dune's crest. Its slit of white light widened, a glowing pupil narrowing in on her shape. The hyena's fur bristled so hard it crackled with static. A shadow passed over her. Not from a cloud. The sky had none. Not from a bird. Nothing flew. It was her own shadow, stretched unnaturally long, drawn out across the sand like an arm reaching upward toward the hovering shard. The ridgeline of disturbed sand, her pursuer, rose again, forming a tall, serpentine shape behind her. It mirrored her shadow, not her body. When she crouched, the ridge shrank. When she lifted her head, the ridge lifted too. It wasn't following her. It was following what the sky saw of her. The hyena tucked her legs close and tried to make herself small to shrink her shadow. But her shadow stretched nonetheless, pulled toward the shard as though gravity itself had chosen a new direction. The shard pulsed again, and something answered. Not from earth, not from sand, from above. The stars trembled, shimmering in a strange rippling pattern like heat mirages turned inside out. The hyena's vision blurred. Her breath caught in her throat. A sound emerged. Not a real sound, not something carried by air, but a vibration in her skull, a low, resonant rumble like distant thunder, spoken in a language older than all deserts. She cowered, covering her head with her paws. The stars rearranged, slowly, deliberately, as if pushed by invisible hands. Constellations twisted out of place. Empty darkness opened between them. Shapes formed, circles, lines, spirals, all converging on the point directly above her. The sky was mapping her, a single star, bigger, brighter, and colder than the rest, peeled itself from the pattern and began to drift downward. The hyena whimpered silently. Stars do not move. Not like that. Not individually. Not like falling embers without heat. Yet this one descended slowly, with the same unnatural grace as the shard, leaving a faint trail of darkened constellations in its wake, like extinguished footsteps. When it reached the height of a low cloud, the hyena saw its true shape. Not a star, not fire, not stone. A sphere. Dark, polished, reflective like the shard, but rounder, smoother, greater. It hung in the air, humming faintly inside her skull. The shard at the dune's crest oriented itself toward the sphere. The patterns in the sky dimmed, waiting. The sphere opened, not physically, not with a seam. It simply unfolded, revealing a hollow interior made of absolute blackness. Deeper than night, deeper than shadow, deeper than anything meant to exist within a sky. The hyena howled, or tried to, but her voice died inside her throat, trapped by a silence so heavy it felt like a hand pressing on her lungs. Her howl, unheard, shuddered through her body. The sphere responded. It tilted, reflecting her shape. Not as she was, but stretched, elongated, distorted into something tall and thin with too many limbs. The hyena scrambled backward, claws digging trenches in the sand. The shadow serpent behind her surged forward, mimicking her rising panic. Its long form twisted and bent into the same impossible shape reflected in the sphere. The shard vibrated faster and faster. The stars dimmed further, drawing all their pale glow toward the descending sphere. A beam of light, cold white, needle-thin, shot from the sphere to the hyena's feet. The sand beneath her glowed. Her shadow peeled upward, lifting from the ground like smoke torn loose from its owner. The hyena kicked, clawed, twisted, but the shadow did not obey her anymore. It rose higher, drawn toward the sphere. Her own shape, dark and trembling, was leaving her. The shard pulsed one final time, bright as frostbite. And the stars, for the first time, laughed. Not warmly, not joyfully, but with a cosmic, cold delight at having finally found something that could answer back. The shadow screamed silently as it reached the sphere's open void. The hyena felt the world tilt around her. Her eyes burned with a terror older than thought. The sky was not trying to punish her. It was not trying to destroy her. It was trying to wear her.